please welcome to the ASU Scout Rebels. Starting lineup for ASU. Starting at 4, number 13, Alex Deneen. Number 16, Jeff Larson. Number 20, Tim Hawkinson. On defense, number 25, Thomas Bowe. Number 7, Jack Osworth. In goal, number 1, Bronson Moore. Your starting lineup for the UNLV State Rebels. At forward, number 9, Brandon Manning. Number 37, Jared Turcotte. And number 7, he is Maxton Arlo. On defense, number 13, Eric Williams. And number 34, he's Matt Reyes. And he is number 30, he is David. Tonight's puck drop is presented by Justin. He is the youngest of 3 brothers. His oldest brother is a U.S. Army veteran who deployed to Afghanistan. And his older brother plays football at Shadow Ridge High School. His parents both work for the city of North Las Vegas. His mother is a real property agent, and his father is a police officer. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause for Justin and his entire family. All right, Justin, drop the puck. In honor of Military Appreciation Night, we're going to do things a bit differently. Before tonight's anthem, we ask that all people please remain seated. And now, we ask that all military and first responders to please stand and be recognized for your service. And now, if everyone will please rise and remove your caps for the presentation of our national anthem. Here to speak the Star Spangled Banner is Fernando Duran.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Good evening and welcome to City National Arena, where last night UNLV spotted the 13th ranked Arizona State Sun Devils a 1-0 lead, but after that it was all UNLV on Military and First Responders Weekend at City National. UNLV started the season hoping to put 4 lines on the ice that would buy in and contribute to that role. Last night the Rebels' depth did just that. They handled the Sun Devils a 10-2 loss. A win is an important one for UNLV tonight. We're desperately trying to move up in the rankings to assure themselves a trip to Frisco, Texas. And thank you for joining us on the UNLV YouTube channel. I'm Dana Lane, and we're off and running at City National. And of course, this is a huge game with huge implications. And UNLV's looking to pick right up where they left off last night as Turcotte had it taken away and back the other way. Here's Larson, Jet Larson, into the UNLV end. And the Rebels don't want to give up an early goal like they did last night, but they wouldn't mind the end result as the puck bounces around center ice. And again, we're going to be the same situation as it was last night, where both teams trying to feel each other out. And believe me, despite the 10-2 result last night, this is an Arizona State team that is rested as we have an icing. With just 51 seconds gone in the first period, this is an ASU team who is rested. They are ranked 13th nationally. They're 21-7-1 and 10-4 on the road. So this is not a team that will go away. And you can bet head coach Tate Green has got his boys ready to go tonight. And UNLV knows how big of a win this is. Probably the biggest opportunity left on the schedule, not to demean any of the other teams on the schedule, but certainly teams ahead of them in the rankings. This is the last one on the schedule as of right now. Back to get it is Kruk. He's chased there by Moeller, pushes him up against the boards, and it goes all the way down on David Anderson. Anderson lays it off. With 18:46 to go in the first period, still scoreless at City National. With all the goals last night, you would have expected a bunch of goals already today, but pretty much starting where it left off last night as Syringe gets on it and just throws a token shot in on Anderson, who handles that easily and freezes the puck. We'll have a whistle to the left of Anderson, or outside the zone. Starting in goal tonight for Arizona State is Bronson Moore. The Tempe, Arizona native is back in net after having a difficult time last night and giving up 6 goals to the Rebels, something that he has not been used to in his career at Arizona State. Shot in on Moore. Moore down to make the save, and with every save, Bronson's going to have more and more confidence. And of course, his numbers were fantastic coming into last night. Just didn't end up that way. And sure, he appreciates the opportunity to get right back out there and prove that last night was a fluke. Here come the Rebels, possible 2-on-1. Now Arizona State gets back, but Salafo still has it. Trying to find somebody in the slot area, nobody there, and still deflected around. Here's Barry. Barry trying to get it off his stick, and then it just fell loose and fell wide of the blade. Erickson back out to the point. Asaf, shot blocked in front. And it was deflected, and we'll have a whistle as it goes out of play. So Asaf being aggressive at the right point. And one thing that we've talked about over the last couple games is puck movement. How quick the defensemen are making decisions. They're not carrying the puck. They're not thinking. They're just getting it and getting it off their stick and allowing their teammates to crash the net. There's Colin Robin getting some playing time tonight, getting an opportunity to show what he got to do, and Fisher shoots it in, a save by Bronson Moore. So very similar to last night. UNLV certainly has the advantage early on as far as time of possession in the offensive zone. Fisher gets the draw, deflected just wide as Flanders chases it for UNLV against McLaughlin for Arizona State. Able to get it out of the zone is Hawsworth. And dumps it in down deep. UNLV goes back to chase it. Anderson stays in his net. Back out to the left point. There's McLaughlin. Scottsdale native has it poked away. And thrown in wide of Anderson. Return shot. Anderson down hugging the post. No room there, so the puck finds its way back to its original spot of the shot. It goes back out to the left point. Rebels trying to get in transition and finally get a little room as they finally get it out of their offensive zone. Now it's bouncing around at the neutral zone. They decide to make a change. Back to get it, Todd Shrins, and Turcotte was lining him up. Thought better of it. Good opportunities, or good decision there by Turcotte. No need to go through Syringe, especially when he doesn't have the puck. At the worst, that's a 2-minute penalty. We have a huge collision down in the corner. Puck goes out to the left point. Shot in on Anderson, trying to get a deflection in front, but nobody there for the Sun Devils in position to get it in on Anderson. Picked up there by Syringe. Alex Syringe been all over the ice so far, has had a good shift. Here's a turnover, but 3 Sun Devils there to make sure that Manning didn't have any room as he walked in to the Arizona State zone, and then back the other way. David Anderson makes a token save. Not sure that's going to count as a shot on goal, but nonetheless makes a save. So back and forth, UNLV still not implementing their full transition or look to be even close to 100% in their transition. And Arizona State getting back on defense like they did extremely well last night, preventing the score from being even worse. UNLV was just buzzing around the net, and they were crashing the net, and they were at the right place at the right time. So the effort was there for 60 minutes from Arizona State, and I'm sure they were chomping at the bit to get back into this for this second game tonight. And Rebels going to get a penalty. It looks like it's going to be on Turcotte. And I'm sure that so Turcotte's going off for 2 minutes. So here's opportunity number 1 for the Sun Devils. They have got to take advantage, and there's a turnover back the other way. There's a backhander that goes just wide by Flanders. Good job taking the puck away, being aggressive at the blue line. Love to see that. And Arizona State shoots it back down the length of the ice. And check that was Underwood. And love to be aggressive at the blue line. That's where I like UNLV the best, but I just call it. It's about a minute to go in the power play. Arizona State still slinging it around the UNLV end and blocked in front. Studioso was going to take a slapper and then blocked in front. Then he regains possession, lays it off, throws it back to Studioso, but it couldn't quite find his stick. And UNLV is going to, Salafos was the recipient of a slash. And now we're going to skate 4 apiece as Arizona State is going to give up the last 21 seconds of their power play. We're going to skate 4-on-4 for 21 seconds, and then UNLV, of course, will go on a power play for 1:39, barring any other further penalties. So UNLV was able to kill off that power play. They don't want to give up too many. And you go through the history, not only this year, between Arizona State and the Rebels, well, penalties are nothing new, and certainly third period penalties are nothing new. And the referee's going over to talk. We have 2 referees tonight. Referee's going over to talk to head coach, Coach Tate Green. And he's shaking his head in approval, so he must have liked what he've heard. So 2 referees, 2 linesmen tonight. DeMizio will take the draw for UNLV. He'll take it against Hoffenkamp. Hoffenkamp wins the draw, sends it back to Hawsworth. Platt. And Platt goes off 2 minutes for slashing. Good stick work there by DeMizio. DeMizio was trying to center it, couldn't get it cleanly, but did finally get it back out to the left point. There's a shot save by Moore, and Bronson Moore was in good position out to cut off the angle. And the Rebels had their first real good opportunity there of this game. Bronson's made one other save. Anderson is down for a second, then he jumps on the puck and freezes it. So UNLV's now on the power play for 1:18 with 13:34 to go in the first period. And usually at the end of the game, when you look at who wins and who loses, it's the team that wins the battle of special teams. And so far, UNLV has killed off that one power play, or their first penalty kill. They were successful on it, 1-for-1. And now they're trying to go 1-for-1 on the power play. Arizona State making it difficult for UNLV. You can see already tonight, not allowing access into that offensive zone along the boards where UNLV likes the zone entry. And they'll say, okay, well, we'll go right through the middle. Here's Turcotte. Turcotte being harassed there by Lampier. Gets it on back to Asaf. Asaf backhands it over to Turcotte. As they swing the puck around, back over to Williams. Williams using his feet, trying to create some space. Asaf received the puck that was a little bit behind him, so he wasn't able to do much with it. Here's Turcotte. Turcotte doing exactly what Connor McDavid does. Puck is loose in front and it's blocked in front by Kruk as Kruk gets down and takes up the empty space. Asaf wanted the puck for a second. Now he's going to come down low. Shot deflected. Asaf scores! Power play goal and point number 100 for Boz Asaf as UNLV gets a power play goal and takes a 1-0 lead. And Boz Asaf, that is point number 100 in a UNLV uniform. And he has plenty more hockey left. So that's exactly what UNLV needed to do and draw first blood in this game, and they did. And they lead 1-0 over the 13th ranked Sun Devils. The Rebels looking to go 13-5 at home. And we'll see what the assists are on that. And Bazasov gets his 100th point and John Moeller gets the assist. And Eric Williams gets the assist. So it's Williams, Moeller, and Asaf. And UNLV takes a 1-0 lead. And a shot and another save. Good opportunity there by Fisher. Found a crease. And that's the other thing UNLV is doing a hell of a job at, is being in the right place at the right time. And Daniel Fisher at that point found a soft spot in the slot area, and that allowed him to get that shot on goal. And that's happened quite a bit since that. We keep harping on that game against Minot, but there are certain games you look down the schedule and there are games that turn the switch on for teams. And that's second game against Minot State was that game, and they haven't looked back ever since. Puck is still loose. They're going to call icing, and boy, that was, I don't know if they were preventing a huge collision, which inevitably would have happened, but they thought better of it. Not sure. That should have been an automatic icing, but all the way back to the right dot we go, and face-off won by UNLV up through the middle into the Arizona State end. Cefalos making himself present in the middle. He's still in position, and then he tried to throw it into Erickson. It was in between his feet, so he really wasn't able to do much with it. As the puck goes the length of the ice, and Arizona State makes a change. The Rebel gets spilled down in the corner. Whistle blows, and it appears as if UNLV will go yet to another power play. Unless the puck jumped out of play. And yeah, that's, we'll see if they're going to call something. They went over to talk real quick to the scorekeeper. And nothing on the scoreboard yet. And there is, I got to think there's a penalty on this. And I had to look through the double glass, so I wasn't able to see any of the motions. But and indeed, that's what's happening now. So Arizona State is going to have to kill off another power play. And Brendan Studioso is going to the box for 2 minutes. Face off, one shot by Sachs just high on Moore's shoulder as he was trying to pick a corner. And the Rebels back into the Arizona State end, or in fact, they never left. There's DeMizio. Back out to the point. Barry over to his right-hand side, over to Asaf. Arizona State trying to clear, and does, as it's hopped over the stick of Underwood. And I think Underwood thought he would have that easy, and then it got on him pretty quick, and then jumped over his stick and out of play, or out of the zone. So UNLV had to go back and regroup again. Arizona State trying to dump it back out, able to do so, and then Barry couldn't keep it in the zone. And so far, UNLV has not been able to take advantage of their speed on this power play. Arizona State being extremely aggressive, challenging the Rebels in the neutral zone, but UNLV is able to get it in down low now. Here's Sachs. Sachs lays it off to Asaf. Asaf tries to get it back to Sachs, but the puck goes all the way back down, and check that. That was Mazzillo who tried to get it back to Sachs. Now back into the zone, and a centering pass was thrown all the way back down the ice, and that centering pass was by the captain, Baz Asaf. 25 seconds left in the Rebel power play. 9:32 to go first period. Rebels coming in with a head of steam. Here's a centering pass to Moeller, and he just fanned on it. Jet Larson finally got a stick on it, was able to clear the zone, and then finally all the way down to David Anderson. And Arizona State in possession, and they're killing off some valuable seconds that UNLV would love to have in an effort to make this a two-goal game. But fortunately for Arizona State, they've killed off this penalty. And now we're going to skate 5 aside with just 9 minutes to go in the first period. And UNLV owns that 1-0 lead. And this next goal is, well, next 2 goals, but certainly that second and third goal of any hockey game is extremely important. So, and then the fourth one, if it's a 1-goal game. But that second goal really sets the tone. It's either a team gets back into it, or a team takes obviously a 2-goal lead. I'm trying to think of a bigger word, but every time I'm trying to think of a word with more than 3 syllables, it doesn't come out of my mouth, so. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Face off to the left of Moore. Hoffenkamp will face it off. He will win the draw. They've done a much better job tonight. Here's a turnover. Here's Erickson. Erickson didn't have any Rebels besides DeMizio. Couldn't get it to him. He wasn't in position to make a sharp pass on DeMizio's stick. Puck still battled for it, and finally poked out of the zone as Larson was able to jump it over the blue line. Then a knuckleball in on Bronson Moore. Moore was not able to handle it cleanly, and then went out to get it and still didn't really handle it cleanly. That allowed the Rebels time to get back into the zone and potentially get an opportunity off, as the shot came right at me on purpose for sure. Tom Bowe gets it out of through neutral zone, and then puck is poked into the corner, back out to the left point, turn around, shot there by Shaw, bounced around, deflected in front, and Arizona State is just not quick enough to the stick, or it's quick enough to the puck, and not in position, not in the position that they need to be in. There's a shot from behind from Palumbo, completely legal, could have laid Fisher out, but did a good job of not doing that. Then Palumbo tried to bank it out of the zone, wasn't able to do so, but his teammate Shaw was there to ensure it would find its way out of the zone, but right back in. Putting pressure on Arizona State was Flanders. Flanders lost it for a second and then delivered a hit onto Chase McLaughlin. And it's 4-on-2, and Arizona still trying to get out and transition, and the Rebels are just buzzing on defense and really not allowing Arizona State to skate with confidence. There's another potential turnover. Had to get back out of the zone as Manning was still in. But just not sure that the passes off the Arizona State stick have an intended target except just to get it out of a danger area. There's Malone had it for a second, a name we have not called. Shot by Manning as the puck is loose, and Bronson gets on it. Bronson Moore gets on it. And again, you know, if I'm UNLV, the last two trips down, we've seen Moore mishandle the puck. And if I'm UNLV, I'm going to put that in the back of my mind. Maybe when you're dumping some pucks in, you dump it a little bit wide of Moore, make it come out, and force him to come out and make a play because he does not look confident handling the puck. Platt was chasing it for a second, but was shielded off, so didn't have an opportunity to do anything with that zone entry with just over 6 minutes to go, 6 minutes exactly. And the first period, UNLV 1, Arizona State nothing. Rebels into the ASU end. Here's Malone. Malone trying to get on the scoreboard over to Turcotte, and Turcotte fans. Turcotte gives it right back, gives it back to Malone. Malone using his feet. Just something this team has done as well as they've done in the last 4 years. Mazzillo gets on it, dumps it in deep. Back out to Turcotte. Turcotte trying to get a stick on it. Jumped right on over his stick again. And back the other way. Here comes Lampierre. And Arizona State decided to dump it in so they could change. And that's one of the things, too, if you have an extended offensive rush, as UNLV has, opposition is going to get tired because they're not able to change because you keep on pinning them in deep. And Arizona State was going to change there regardless of what happened. As long as the puck was out of the zone, they needed to get out. Puck on over to Larson. Larson goes in the corner but wasn't quick enough as a Rebel was right there and then used his body to shield Larson from getting a stick on it. And Syringe had it for a second and gets it right back off his stick. And it's more of get it on your stick, get it off your stick, and hopefully there's somebody else on the other end that can do something with it. But this is really the time of game where UNLV found their legs yesterday. But Hoffenkamp comes into the UNLV offensive zone, gets ridden off to into the corner with 4:15 left. First period, shot in on Anderson. Anderson easily sticks that aside. And all the shots are really coming on the perimeter, and that's another thing that as Barry gets spilled up at the blue line, Rebels back hard the other way. And again, Arizona State is shutting off. They are shutting off the entries on the corners. And here's a shot in, and Anderson almost was handcuffed there as Arizona State was trying to put some bodies in front of Anderson. Fortunately, the puck went just wide, but again, the point is if you keep teams to the perimeter, most goaltenders will have a huge night against shots that are coming from the outside, especially if you don't have anybody in front to shield them. So Arizona's game plan tonight is certainly zone entry along the board is just not going to happen, and if it does, we need to put a body on him. Here's Salafos. Salafos, Erickson, a crossing pass on over to DeMizio, who whiffed on it, and that's the second time tonight that UNLV, that's 2 goals that potentially they whiffed on, and even on the Asaf goal, because I don't know if Asaf got all of that either. Here's DeMizio. DeMizio, 1-on-3, wins the battle for a second, but finally picked up there by Plord. Elliot Plord, one of the leading scorers on his Arizona State team, has not been heard of. Here's Flanders. Flanders shoots one high, trying to pick a corner. A good idea there, and I don't think he missed by much. The puck finds its way back out into the neutral zone. And a crowd, which is another good one, and considering the Golden Knights are playing tonight, it's good to see this big crowd supporting UNLV Rebel skating Rebel hockey. There's Flanders. Flanders shoots again, and a save by Moore, and glove. No, and he scored. I thought Moore got a glove on that, but obviously he didn't. And a rebound off of Flanders' shot, and we'll see who gets credit for that goal. But the puck came off of Flanders' stick, and it looked like Moore made the initial glove save, but there was a quick rebound in front, and we'll see officially who got their stick on it to give them the goal. But Flanders is either getting a goal or an assist, probably an assist. Colin Robin gets the goal, and that's Robin's first goal on the season, and Flanders indeed does get the assist. And the second assist is going to Daniel Fisher, and again, more depth scoring from UNLV. Here's Turcotte. Turcotte gets it over to Malone, and just in back of them, and UNLV is feeling his shot in on by Hosworth, and Anderson was there to make the save. But Arizona State knows they need to get the next goal. There is no doubt about it, as UNLV is certainly feeling it, and David Anderson is one hot goaltender. And that's not a good combination to come back from a multiple goal deficit. And was going to say about Colin Robin, as the Rebels back in transition, there's a 3-on-2 for me. There's Turcotte. Turcotte lays it off, gives it over to Manning, and Manning blasts it, and a save by Moore. 1 minute remaining, and I just want to get this out about Colin Robin. His first goal on the season, a guy that really wants to get on the ice and just hasn't had that opportunity this season, but great to see him get his first goal and see if that lights a fire under him for the rest of the night. 40 seconds ago in first period, 2-0 UNLV, and the last thing Arizona State wants to have happen is a late goal here. Here's Underwood. Underwood backhands it. Here's a 2-on-1 back the other way. Moeller wants a return pass. Doesn't get it. Goes high. As Moeller was occupying the middle of the ice as Jake Sachs was coming down, flying down the right-hand side. Sachs thought about it for a second, just couldn't get it over to Moeller. 10 seconds ago in the period, maybe UNLV has one more shot, and Noah Sachs was bumped off the puck. And that's going to do it for the first period from City National. And UNLV has picked right up where they left off last night and scored 2 goals in the first period. So at the end of 20 minutes at City National, UNLV 2, Arizona State 0. We'll be back after the first period intermission. And welcome back to City National Arena for second period action as UNLV trying to extend their lead to 3 goals. And now have outscored Arizona State 12-2 over the last 2 games. And thanks for joining us on the UNLV Skating Rebels YouTube page. I'm Dana Lane. And settle in for the next 20 minutes as the Rebels try to put this away. But back the other way is Alexander Demon, and Denon gets the score. All right, Demon picked the puck up, and I think he caught UNLV just napping a little bit as the Rebels trying to get the juices flowing for the second period, and the juices were certainly flowing already for Arizona State. And Alexander Demon scores for the Sun Devils, and now we have ourselves a good old-fashioned hockey game once again as Turcotte will take the draw. He'll win the draw back to Asaf. And check that, Jet Larson will get the goal. And Demeen, well, they call him Demeen, apologize to Mrs. Demeen. And Demeen will get the assist, so Jet Larson, best name in hockey, shot wide again as Arizona State is given 120% so far here in the second period. Here's Malone. Malone cruises to the middle of the ice, just couldn't get that one last move as the puck danced off his stick, but finds its way back to Asaf in a neutral zone. Asaf gives it off to Barry. Barry shoots it in on Moore, and Moore just sticks it away out of play. So from an Arizona State standpoint, a team that we've said well, I guess it's just me, just said all weekend that they will not go away, and despite the score last night, there was no quit in this team. And now we have ourselves a 2-1 hockey game, and that Arizona State bench is starting to believe a little bit. We see Coach Green talking to his guys, smiling a little bit, and now he knows his boys is right back into this game. And keep in mind, too, Arizona State goes on the road to Las Vegas to face the 17th-ranked team, and if they split, despite losing 10-2 last night, a block in front, as one of the Sun Devils is down, we'll get the number on that, but his jersey is tucked inside, so we couldn't get the number. He is going off to the ice right now, and I wasn't able to get the number before he went off. Meanwhile, back the other way, here's Arizona State trying to get that game-tying goal, and the Rebels better start getting the second period juices rolling quick, because if this game gets tied up, momentum will take a huge shift. There's DeMizio. DeMizio using his body well to make sure that Platt doesn't have control, and now we finally get a number. It's Clayton Lackey who was spilled. He's out trying to test that knee, and Clayton Lackey is a guy that certainly Coach Green wants in a lineup. Scottsdale native has 43 points on the season coming into the weekend, so to lose a player of that magnitude would deliver quite a blow to the Sun Devils. But on the UNLV side, they're no stranger to injuries. In fact, Kane Toriumi is out. I talked to DeAndre John in between periods. He's out. This is Connor Hetzel is out. I mean, not only that, there's guys on this team that are sick, so here we go, round and round we go. And here's Robin as Robin tries to look for a second goal, and he shoots it in on Moore. Moore down to make the save as he cuts off the angle. Not much room there as Robin trying to get number 2 and poke down the length of the ice, and now we're going to have an icing. It was a chase there by Gentile and Damon Porter. Damon Porter from Calgary, Alberta. Yes, I know it's in Canada. You always got you have these friends that are from Canada, and every time they tell your other friends where they're from, they always have to say I'm from Canada, like we don't know where Edmonton is. I know half of you are saying, well, they don't. Yeah, we're going to have another icing call as Williams goes back to touch up. I have a friend of mine from Montreal. Always has to say she's from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And I say I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, United States, and she doesn't like that. So, anyway, 17:21 to go, second period. Face-off won by the Rebels, not able to keep it in the zone as it goes the length of the ice, and we're going to probably have another icing, which we do. Williams goes back to touch it up again. We'll go back the other way and do it all over again. Arizona State has come a long way, and we'll go through their records over the last couple of years. Of course, UNLV has not been a stranger to winning. Shot goes wide by Williams. I just discovered there's a million kids behind me. I don't know if you can hear that on the broadcast, but that's what we're dealing with. And I finally found myself a color commentator. There's a cross-crease pass on over to Platt. Platt looking to get it off his stick. Waited too long as UNLV was able to back check. And then Platt ended up not getting anything off his stick or nothing that got pushed towards Anderson's way. That one went wide as Sachs is chasing after Tom Bowe. Bowe tried to get it up, and Bowe finally, Bowe's still wrestling with Sachs. Sachs finally takes it away. Shot in front, blocked nicely by Arizona State, and they're really clogging that middle now, not allowing UNLV to get quality opportunities from the point. Here's a shot. Anderson makes the save off the post, though, as Chase McLaughlin from Scottsdale got it, handcuffed Anderson for a second. I think it bounced off his shoulder and hit the pipe, and Arizona State is playing with renewed confidence, and if they get this game-tying goal, well, then we're going to really see what UNLV is made of, and this is a game that they really need because next week they'll play Oakland University to finish off the home schedule. Oakland is ranked behind them, and then they'll play 3 games against Colorado, who are not in the rankings, so I'm not sure how much shot goes high over Moore's glove. So this is their last chance to make an impression on a computer ranking that is made up of an analytical formula that never watches hockey. I promise not to get on that tonight. Centering pass in front. And it doesn't find a stick of Turcotte, even though Turcotte had good position. And Arizona State back in transition, but UNLV, good back check. And Anderson comes in, and then they get sprayed for his efforts. As Syringe comes in to try to make a play, and instead he just threw some snow into Anderson's face, and no way, he didn't mean to do that, so we'll call it like we see it. But snow is not a penalty. And Anderson is clearing out every morsel of his face as he's picking ice out of his eyes. And finally he's ready to go. Taking a draw for Arizona State is Hoffenkamp. Hoffenkamp's been pretty good on the draws tonight. And he'll win another one. Back out to Larson. I'll never forget his name because I love Jet. Name my next kid that I'll never have, Jet. Arizona State dumps it in, deflected out of play, so we'll have a face-off outside the zone. So 14:35 to go, second period. 2-1 UNLV. And if they get as this fourth goal, I know we said 2 and 3 were important, as they certainly were, but 4 is also important. And Arizona State's looking for that one. Anderson gets down to make the save. In good position there, despite the fact Arizona State put some bodies in front of Anderson. But he was right there to make the save and always in good position, coming out of his net to cut down any angle. And Rebels back into the Arizona State zone and back of Moore as they're all bunched up, taken out of there by Moeller. Moeller looking for a centering pass, can't find one, so he decides to keep it. Then he circles back around. Throws it into the Throws it into that dead corner that we can't see, and then it goes in on Moore's glove. So just under 14 minutes to go, second period, 2-1 UNLV. UNLV comes into the weekend. This is the last thing I'll say about this. They come into the weekend, I would say, feeling a little bit disrespected by the national rankings. They had recent wins against the 12th ranked Jamestown, number 5 Minot. They swept Utah by a combined 12-2 score. They won another game against Arizona. It was a 1-goal game against Arizona. A shot blocked in front off the faceoff. And puck is still loose, and Moore gets down to make the save and freezes it, so we'll have another draw. But they have the last home series against Oakland University next week. Now, Oakland right now is ranked 22nd, so wins against Oakland is not really going to help UNLV unless teams in front of them lose, which Oklahoma did tonight. So between tonight and next week against Oakland, which is certainly a ranked team, they will have still plenty of opportunities to impress, and then it probably comes down to that Colorado series. Shot in on Moore down to make the save. And the Rebels not getting the high-quality chances that they've had, and a huge hit, and a legal hit, and Anderson's there to make a great save. And we had to follow the puck, but there was a hit that got lined up in the neutral zone, and it was a legal hip check. And I am going to ask profusely over the summer for the ability to watch a replay. But first things first. ASU keeps it in the zone, and now a return crushing blow to Barry. And Brendan Studioso said, we're going to repay the favor, and Barry gets up slow, and you knew that was coming. And both hits were legal, even though Barry was not in a great position to absorb it. And Arizona State repaid the favor as Barry does go off the ice. Plonsky out there with the puck now. He's being harassed by Havener. Puck still loose in front of him. I just wanted to talk about Anderson's save there. Staying focused on the shooter. And he stood tall and made a really good glove save. And one thing you'll say about David Anderson, he is a big goaltender, which obviously helps him out a lot, and that's something UNLV has needed. Puck loose for a second as Platt was all ready to deliver a hit as well. Sachs was trying to make a move to the outside, and that was a hit that I heard. And puck finds its way back into DeMizio. Havener goes back to force DeMizio to get it out of the zone quickly as DeMizio was trying to send a stretch pass up to Malone. We haven't talked to Malone very much tonight, and puck gets on Erickson's stick as he goes to the corner. Now throws it up to the point, and a turnaround shot gets in on Moore as he makes the save, and we'll have another faceoff. So good end-to-end action for sure by both teams. Both teams have had opportunities. But the goaltending tonight, certainly from UNLV's standpoint, continues to be phenomenal. And Bronson Moore, who is much better than what we saw last night, is more of a reflection of what we're seeing tonight. But Arizona State doing a much better job of controlling the middle of the ice and not allowing quick transition on the wings. And there's a hit by Shaw, and the puck was clearly off of Reyes' stick, and it at least was a 1.5 count. And I guess a 1 count you let go, maybe 1.5, but Shaw was gonna lay Reyes out regardless if he had that puck or not. But close enough to not call, close enough to call. 11:22 to go in the second period. Face-off in the Arizona State end, won there by the Rebels, sent down into the left corner, and finally poked out of there. And the shot just wide by Salafos, and he got it in the high slot area and shot it high over Bronson Moore's stick. And that's the first time that I can remember in a while that UNLV was able to pick up a loose puck in a danger area, and a big hit behind Moore. And then it's wristed in. Puck still loose. Moore's out to make the save, and he freezes the puck. This thing's going to get chippy as we get further along, especially if UNLV, or if either team's able to lengthen the lead, but especially UNLV. I think this thing will definitely get chippy as we go on. 10:48 to go, almost halfway through tonight's game. 2 home games left after tonight, and it's hard to believe that this season is, at least the home schedule, is over. Kept in there nicely by Barry. Good to see Barry back on the ice after getting lit up along the boards. Puck still loose in a low slot area, picked up there by the Rebels, and they're still able to maintain space in the Arizona State end. A great job there by Barry to still keep it in the zone, as Arizona State was certain that they were off to the races. And one swipe of the stick, they said no, and Turcotte gets it off his stick. Saved by Bronson, and now the net comes loose. Moore is down, and he's on top of the puck, and I'm sure through the bodies things are going on that would warrant penalties, and we'll see if any gets called. But the net was off, and that's why the whistle was blown. Probably not, just some jabbing back and forth. Anthony Vigneri-Greener in his 5th season at UNLV has been associated with this program since 2006. He played here until the 2010-2011 season, and we've said it 100 times, but it's worth repeating if you've gone through the record book, as Moore's out of place for just a second, but nobody there from UNLV to take advantage. There's Plonsky. Plonsky was able to. That was the softest big hit shot, and it goes wide as Plord, Elliot Plord, who is looking to get on the scoreboard, something he hasn't done this weekend, jumped on a loose puck and sent it just wide of Anderson's glove hand. And the Rebels still maintain the puck in the Sun Devil end. They shoot it in on Moore. Moore able to make a glove save for a second, but then laid it off. And he goes back out to center ice as Gentile jumps on it, but sends it right back in the Arizona State end as UNLV makes a change. If you look at the all-time statistics in UNLV history, Anthony Vigneri-Greener is by far and away the leader in points, and he is also making a name for himself behind the bench with this team, and a fantastic job that he's done along with Nick Raboni, the assistant coach. Those two have engineered trips to the national tournament almost on a regular basis, certainly in the 4 years that I've been here. And we're going to have a penalty called, and it is, we'll see who touches up, and we're going to have a hooking call, and we'll see who gets that. And by the demeanor, it looks like it could be UNLV. Well, now it looks now it's going to be on ASU, and that's exactly what it's going to be. So UNLV has a chance here. Tom Bowe, I believe that's a 25 on the board. I'm going to look. Puck is loose. Thomas Bowe is officially announced. A hooking call, so UNLV goes on a power play. A slapper, puck is loose, and finally Moore jumps on it to freeze it. And you can circle this power play. These 2-goal leads are extremely difficult to come back from. If UNLV can get on the board here, that erases what Arizona State has been able to accomplish over the last 12 minutes of this period. We'll face it off again in the left circle. And the Rebels win an important face-off. Arizona State trying to poke it out of the zone. 8:30 to go, second period. Wrapped around back out to the point. Here's Asaf. Asaf gets it off his stick quickly. Here's over to Williams. Williams gets it in down deep to Malone. Cross crease pass shot, and it is blocked in front. Bunch of bodies in front of Moore. And back out to the point again. Shot again by Williams. Doesn't hit the net. That's one thing that Eric Williams has been a fantastic addition. The Henderson native been a fantastic addition, but I'd like to see some of those slappers get on net. And if it's not going to happen, as Moore gets in to freeze it, if that's not going to happen, let's just move our feet, create some space, and get some wristers off until we can find some accuracy on the slapper. So over a minute to go in the power play. 7:56 to go in the second period. And face-off will be to the left of Moore. Rebels win the draw again by hopping right over the stick. And then a good stick work there by Larson as Jet Larson went over to harass Barry. And Barry had it for a second and it jumped right off his stick. So he had to go retreat it. Now back the other way. Here's DeMizio, shoots this wide. And the Rebels not quite buzzing as much as they did last night, but still you can feel that they've had a little bit of an advantage as they have taken Arizona State's counterpunch, but they could send a hard jab, and we're going to have a whistle, and that's going to be a penalty on UNLV, and power play is over for the Rebels. And that hard jab, straight jab, did not land. And UNLV has lost an opportunity to extend the lead. So we're going to skate 4-on-4 for another 15 seconds. And taking a draw is Elliott Plord for Arizona State. Wins the draw momentarily, but gets it right back is Reyes. And Underwood's going, I believe that's, boy, I do need binoculars. Send binoculars to UNLV. Underwood's going off for tripping. I tell you though, these numbers are tiny. Finally poked out of the zone, UNLV, or attempted to, as Arizona State said, we're going to go back and regroup as they go on the power play. Flanders came out and he was lining another hit up, and instead of taking a hit, they decided to not go in the zone, and that was a good, that's going to cost them a good 15-20 seconds. Shot saved by Anderson as Elliott Plord was in, found a soft spot, and shot it right into the middle of the UNLV logo. And no matter how hard you shoot those will never go through. And Plord will take it. You cannot drop the puck when Plord doing that. Williams almost gets hit from behind as Plord came over to get this puck away from Williams, but Williams was using his body nicely, but somehow the Sun Devils were able to maintain possession, but an errant pass is back outside the zone, so the Sun Devils have to go back and regroup. And it's an offside, and Williams delivers a last-second blow, and Flanders is coming over to have a discussion as well, and Well, if the Rebels don't get a penalty there, as Clayton Lackey came in and Williams gave him a shot against the board after the whistle had clearly blown, and I think UNLV is extremely lucky not to get a penalty there, because there's no way Eric Williams did not hear the whistle, and it was a 1.5 count, and then he laid Lackey out up against the boards. It's call him as you see him. It's not always for UNLV, but luckily for them, they did not get a penalty, and they're still killing off the initial penalty. Shot goes in on Anderson as it's Hoffenkamp jumped on it for a second. Couldn't get a deflection to go towards David Anderson, and it was more of a redirect and not a very strong one, as it found its way towards Anderson rather than Anderson going out to get it. Arizona State wins the draw, back out to the point. Shot down there to Porter. Porter gets it on off to Bowe. Tom Bowe cross-ice pass, and that's unsuccessful as the Rebels were able to clear. Not the length of the ice, but maybe enough to kill off this power play with 7 seconds left. And it looks like they're going to do that as the linesman goes down. And UNLV looking for UNLV was looking for an icing and calling for it, and Arizona State thought that they were in position. Hoffenkamp thought he was in position to grab that puck, but the problem there was that the whistle should have blown a lot sooner than it did. So we'll go all the way down to the other end. Horn goes off. Blue screen on the scoreboard. Everything's breaking loose. Not sure what's going on. Great crowd. I don't always get a chance to look up and just look at the crowd, but it's alumni weekend. They're also honoring first responders and military members, them and their families tonight. So this place is packed, and not only is it packed in the stands, but people standing around the end boards, and everybody enjoying UNLV Rebel hockey. And when you have big crowds like this, just like you did last night, you want to make sure you put a W on the board and send everybody home happy. David Anderson, not asked to do a lot, really hasn't since he's put on a UNLV uniform after transferring from Jamestown, but he comes in with a 5-3 record, save percentage hovering around 91%. Goals against creeps closer to 2 with every start. And David Anderson will tell you that just needed an opportunity. And his old team, Jamestown, the Jimmies, lost a tough one last night to a Division II opponent. And perhaps maybe they were thinking twice about giving Mr. Anderson away, but they were dominant in shots on goal, so it was telling me they were peppering the netminder, but just couldn't get it past them. And Jamestown, probably one of the most irritating teams to play, and I mean that in a good way. It's especially if they get a lead on you. It is get the puck off their stick as quickly as possible. As the faceoff goes out to Barry. Barry wasn't able to handle it as he tried to get it over to Asaf, but pass was behind him that forced a turnover when under 5 minutes ago in the second period. Asaf goes up to pinch. They made him pay, and the shot goes just wide as Tom Bowe was on that puck quickly as Asaf went up to pinch, and that allowed Arizona State the room. But Rebels come back the other way, and a shot on Moore, and he made the save, and Underwood trying to go backhand. Get it up over Moore's shoulder, but I don't think he got it high enough. Well, obviously he didn't. He shot it right into the Sun Devil logo. And we remain 2-1 with 4:35 to go second period. Rebels win a big draw in the offensive zone, kept in there nicely by Barry. Shaw was attacking the blue line as it finds its way back out to Barry again. Makes a move, dumps it into the corner. Rebels trying to set up a cycle, gives it back to Malone. Malone trying to get one off the stick. Puck still loose in a low slot area. And Arizona State able to clear it and almost had a breakaway there as Palumbo was in back of Manning. And Arizona State still has it in front and a centering pass over to Deneen. Deneen couldn't get a backhander off as he had position in front. And we might have a penalty, and the net comes loose, so of course we have a whistle. And I don't think there's going to be a penalty on that. I think the whistle was just to signify the net coming loose. Thought maybe he blew it before the net came loose, but replayed it in my mind, which allows me about 3 seconds of replay time. As the Rebels flip it out of the offensive zone. And finally shot down the remainder portion of the ice by Erickson as he takes a shove from behind. I suppose that's legal. 3:43 to go in the second period. Good hit by Plonsky up on Studioso. And puck is loose in the low slot area. And Arizona State just playing their game, waiting for UNLV to make a mistake, which they almost did right there. Spacing hasn't been great for UNLV in the last couple minutes. Now they make Arizona State go side to side. Pass over to Erickson. Erickson loses it off his stick, tries to center it. And again, Arizona State controlling the middle of the ice, so their centering passes really have not found their intended target. As Arizona Sun Devils tonight have done a much better job of keeping UNLV to the perimeter, as you can see them do right there. UNLV trying to make a move to the middle of the ice, and ASU says we're just going to own this portion. So if you're going to score on us, it's going to be a deflection, or you're going to have to beat our goaltender. Here comes Flanders. Flanders with a head of steam in it, and it rolls off of his stick as he was trying to make it backhander, a forehand backhand move. Cross ice pass, score! Well, that was a thing of beauty, and the Rebels have extended their lead to 3-1. And like we just said, they've done a great job of keeping them to the perimeter, and either it was going to be a deflection or they were just going to beat their goaltender. And we'll see who gets the goal on this, but I think it was Flanders who got the goal, and I think it was off a pass from Williams. Well, we want to make sure it goes down officially. But that's exactly what happened right there as they beat Bronson Moore on a slapper, recognizing that there was plenty of space, and as soon as Williams had an opportunity to get it off his stick, he found that space. And all the great teams, they do one thing. They know where everybody is going to be on the ice. And I couldn't have said that about this Rebel team a couple months ago, but boy, they've been a different hockey team in the last month or so. And we'll give you the official announcement as it comes. And Flanders indeed does get the goal. And DeMizio is going to get the assist. So DeMizio, and the puck is loose in the low slot area. So it was DeMizio with that pass, and then a huge hit as Gentile gets laid out, and he wasn't happy about that. And there's a whistle. 2:02 to go in the second period. DeMizio, great pass. And Flanders wound up and blasted a laser past Bronson Moore to give UNLV a 3-1 lead. And we'll say one thing about DeMizio. Every game that goes by, he seems to get stronger and stronger, and I say his name quite a bit. And he has come up It's always somebody. It's Malone, it's DeMizio, it's Sachs, it's the goaltending in David Anderson. Here comes Sachs the other way. He's going to try to make a move to the middle. If not, he'll use that net to rub off his defender. Couldn't do it there as they stayed right on him. Potentially holding him was Thomas Bowe. And now there's a scrum in the corner. Rebel down for a second, and now, now he gets thrown into the board, which apparently is also legal, as Hoffenkamp says, yeah, we're going to wrestle for a second. Hoffenkamp now with the puck, and then he gets bumped off by Underwood. And I think Underwood was the one that he potentially threw into the board, or did throw into the board. And a shot in on Anderson as he makes a save. I will say this, I really enjoy doing the games here at City National. I loved all the other venues we were in as well, even though, there are spots on the ice that I just, can't see from our vantage point, but it is fantastic when they're in your own end. You certainly can see everything. And since this facility has opened, it's been a pleasure to be able to call games once we found a spot that we were comfortable with. Believe me, we've been all over this arena, but just like in middle school, I'm most comfortable in the corner. Turcotte throws it into center ice and back the other way and finds its way down on Anderson. Anderson was looking to get an icing call, and now he was unsuccessful in doing so as Mazzillo comes in to pick it up. Mazzillo lays it off to Plonsky, who loses it for a second. Rebels back the other way. Here comes Manning. Manning trying to make a move to the middle, shoots, and it goes wide. And Moore was on it as the shot that went wide bounced off the backboards and in again on Moore. And we talked about that earlier with 26 seconds left. If you have a goaltender that has proven that he's kind of shaky when he handles the puck, and I don't know that, I see him for what I see here. I don't know, I haven't seen all his games, but here he's been shaky handling the puck. So if there's nothing there, perhaps shoot it a little wide. Make sure he goes out to play it. If not, crash the middle of the net and see if you can get a loose puck until he can prove that he's strong. He's strong in the low slot area, and he's strong from pipe to pipe handling the puck. And that's going to do it with 8 seconds left in the second period. Erickson picks it up for a second. Maybe he's got one more chance, and it's blocked in front. That's going to do it for the second period. So everything Arizona State did was a positive, except make the lead smaller than a 2-goal deficit. And Arizona State played a much better, inspired second period. In fact, they played an inspired 40 minutes. But unfortunately for their efforts, they were not able to eat into that 2-goal lead. And after 40 minutes, UNLV has one more period before they complete the sweep against the 13th ranked team from Arizona State. We'll be back after the second period intermission from City National Arena, 3-1 UNLV. And welcome back to City National Arena for the third period between the Rebels and Arizona State. UNLV has a 3-1 lead, and it's been an eventful 40 minutes so far. Nothing like the explosion last night, as both goaltenders have played well. Bronson Moore, after last night, giving up 6 goals. The shot goes wide of David Anderson. And Arizona State is certainly going to give 120% at least to start. I mean, it's going to get to the point where they don't get these goals back quick or give one up. It's going to be awfully difficult to come back from. A big hit there as Larson goes down. Larson wanted a penalty, and then he goes to the bench. And the Rebels here goes in deep. Here's Barry. Barry centering pass. Here's Manning. Manning, the puck was behind him. Manning wanted the puck sent over his way about 2 seconds earlier, and he would have been one-on-one in on Moore. So it's been a fantastic first responders military weekend here at City National. The crowd has been fantastic. We certainly appreciate everything that they do for our community. And it was great. Also, it's alumni weekend. Got a chance to talk to old Rebels. To talk to Trevor Ruiz. Still can't say the name. And Cody Lane came over and said hello. And also Eric Williams' dad, who is a current Rebel, came over and said hi. So it was nice to see everybody, and we appreciate you taking the time to come over and say hello. Turcotte got thrown up against the boards by Alex Syringe. And Arizona State playing with a little bit more of an inspired effort, as you would assume they would. They would come out and try to get at least one of these goals back quickly and send a message for the rest of the period. And the Rebels are doing a good job of finishing checks. And it seems to be something that maybe they talked about in between periods, is finish your checks and get the puck off your stick. Don't think about it too much, and don't turn it over like right there as the shot goes wide. And Arizona State had a good opportunity right there, but Florida was not able to pound it home, and then back the other way. Moore comes out to make the save, and he was trying to get it quickly back up in transition for the Sun Devils, but it was poked away. Erickson sends a little backhand floater over to Sachs. Sachs wasn't quite able to put a stick on it, so it found its way back outside the zone. Plonsky chased it, therefore UNLV brings it into the zone and throws it into Sachs, who dumps it off in front of Moore. And the Rebels didn't have anybody in front, so that puck was not going to go in without a little bit more redirection. Moore found it right in front of him, and he jumped on it and froze the puck. Flanders will take the draw for UNLV. He'll take it against Porter. Porter will win the draw for Arizona State, and then he gets thrown into the boards, or check that. Kruk gets thrown into the boards for his effort. Rebels right back in a transition, shot wide. Pass over to Fisher, gets a little bit behind him, and clearly there Robin's stick was getting held, and another laser goes wide of Moore. Robin's stick was getting held, no call. And then backhand transition, here's Platt. Platt, the Tempe native, throws it into the corner, as Arizona State played a little bit of dump and chase there, except it was more chase back out to the neutral zone. Quick move in third period. I don't think we've had a whistle yet. 16:30 to go in the third period. Here comes the Rebels back the other way. Shot by Fisher, goes wide, and Fisher goes in for a rebound off the backboards. As, just like in basketball, followed up his shot, hoping for a rebound to find his stick. Arizona State makes a change, and UNLV not able to make them pay as we have an offside. So I talked earlier about Arizona State and the progression of this program. In 2017, they were 14-25, and last year hit rock bottom, finishing with an 8-29-3 record. And of course, that had a lot to do with the Division I program, the NCAA Division I program being formed. So there was a lot of turnover in the lower levels of their hockey program. But this year, right back to the top, we're going to have a whistle. And we'll see if this is going to be on Arizona State, or this penalty's on Arizona State. That's going to be my guess. And perhaps, and indeed that's going to be the case. See, every time I'm going to guess, I would be right. Can't be gun shy anymore. Shaw goes off for 2 minutes. Offenkamp will take the draw for UNLV, and of course Turcotte will be right there to oppose him. Rebels win the draw, back out to Asaf, over to Williams. Williams walks in for a second, throws it in the high slot to Turcotte, who tries a return pass to Asaf, and Asaf loses it, and it goes back down the length of the ice as Arizona State kills off some of this penalty. The cross-checking penalty to Shaw. And Arizona State sends it back out as quickly as the Rebels brought it in. And ASU, even on the penalty kill, they know that they have to send a heavy forecheck, even though that they're down a man. Because with goals hard to come by, they've scored 3 goals and 5+ periods this weekend against the Rebels. So they do know that even though they're trying to kill off this penalty, that it would behoove them to get some offensive opportunities for themselves. But here comes Sachs. Sachs with a head of steam. Going to use that net to rub off the defender, Tom Bowe. Then decides to get it back out to the top. Shot in. Puck is loose, and Moore jumps on it as the Rebels were crashing the net. Underwood was there for a split second. He was the closest Rebel to it. But Moore doing a good job tonight, not giving up a lot of rebounds, and the rebounds that he does give up are right in front of him. And the Rebels, as far as positioning tonight, not as good as it was last night, but certainly doing a good job of it's more about Arizona State doing a better job of controlling the middle of the ice. Sun Devils throw it down the length of the ice. There's 34 seconds left in the power play. And if the Rebels score here, this would really tighten up their grasp on a victory as we have an offsides. So the ACHA tournament, which is what we're all playing to get in, and UNLV hopefully with this potential sweep this weekend has shown whoever is doing these rankings, showing the algorithm that they're a lot better than where they're ranked right now. Big hit by Underwood. And Underwood gets some sticks up, and we're going to have a penalty. It's going to be a cross check. And we'll see. That's probably going on Arizona State is my guess. And we'll see if UNLV is going to go to another power play, and I almost can guarantee it because they weren't calling cross checks last night, but certainly got that one. And indeed, the power play is going to UNLV as Hawsworth is going off. Jack Hawsworth hasn't scored yet this year, but we're taking 13 assists off the ice right now, and UNLV has an opportunity once again with a man advantage to take a 3-goal lead. Held in nicely there, and puck is still loose in front, and the Rebels not quick to get their stick on the puck. And that time, another rebound was right in front of Moore. And Moeller just decided to let it go because they were going to be outside, but I'm not sure giving up possession. Well, I guess he didn't have a choice in that, but maybe just shoot the puck in deep. But nonetheless, here come the Rebels one more time. They got a 4-on-2, and spacing wasn't good there between Moeller and Williams. And because of that, the Rebels got crossed up. Arizona State was able to get their stick on it, still not able to get it out of the zone. Good, and here's a shot in on Sachs, and Sachs gets blasted in the glove, and Barry was able to keep it in the zone. And boy, you never want to see anybody, and we're going to have another penalty. Sachs gets hit in the glove. He goes down and puts his head down for a second. And there'll be another penalty called, and we hope that Sachs is okay as he took a blast. I think he probably caught more of the glove, so hopefully Sachs is okay. But unfortunately for UNLV, the penalty will be on Jared Turcotte, so we'll skate 4 apiece for the next 52 seconds, and then Arizona State will have an abbreviated power play. And 2 minutes for elbowing by Turcotte. Here's Erickson. Erickson getting in deep, centering pass, nobody there. As Manning was the closest Rebel, but not in a position to make Arizona State pay for his ability to get in down in that low slot area. But Manning working to get the puck back again. He's there with Erickson. And here's Erickson walking in, tries to shoot at the right corner. And it goes wide, but the Rebels still in control in Arizona State end. Here's Erickson again. He shot and a save. And then check that Plonsky. And Plonsky tried a secondary shot. And then decided to get it back out to the point, but couldn't keep it in the offensive zone. But Rebels right back the other way. And then Plonsky holding court in front of Moore. And this is despite the fact that Arizona State has a power play. UNLV was able to finally get some inside position and looking for centering passes or a deflection. But Arizona State now in an abbreviated power play with 40 seconds to go. And this is the time of the game where they really have got to get a goal on the board, because UNLV, as they come back the other way, and a shot and a save by Moore, as Flanders was looking for another one. And I will say this about UNLV, if you don't pin them up against the boards, somewhere along the blue line, you are never going to catch them as their forwards get near the get down near closer to the dots and the circles. Regardless of the side, it's Sachs on one side, Flanders on the other side. And you need to pinch these guys off right at the blue line. And if you can't do it, they will beat you and make a move to the middle. And here we go back the other way. Here comes a 3-on-1, a 3-on-0 shot, save, as Fisher was in all alone. A 3-on-0, a 3-on-0, however you want to say it, remained the same as Flanders. Cross crease pass, didn't quite get over to Fisher. Fisher would really like to get one back on the board as he wasn't able to convert on that breakaway. Barry back to pick it up for UNLV is still, and the one thing, it's a 2-goal game, but from an Arizona State standpoint, time of possession is clearly and has been all weekend in favor of UNLV. So not just a matter of being down by 2 goals, but it's a matter, and there's another good example there. And Flanders tried to kick it in, and then DeMizio made a move, and DeMizio was not cut off at the blue line, so he made that move around at the left dot, and then a big hit in the corner as Salafos felt that. Now the hits are being delivered everywhere. DeMizio goes down. Arizona State is following their checks, and then a puck is loose in front, and a turnaround shot goes wide, and then a huge return hit. And we're going to have an offside. Now, a lot happened there. A big hit along the corner, or along the half wall. And then UNLV was in offside. And there should be a penalty called on Arizona State. I mean, it's honestly, there was, we'll see exactly what, and the penalty does go up finally to ASU. And that might, let's see, that might have been Palumbo. Puck is still loose and shy, and a glove save, a beautiful glove save off the stick of Moeller. Okay, so syringe is off. Okay, syringe is off, 2 minutes for elbowing, and that's the correct call. I thought they were going to let that go, but officiating has been pretty good this weekend. A couple times I questioned if there was things that were now considered legal, but for the most part, the referees have done a pretty efficient job this weekend. They're back the other way on the head of steam. Almost lost the puck was Manning. Or check that, Malone. Malone, we haven't said his name a lot tonight as he gives it off to Turcotte. Number 1 line on the board. Here's Turcotte all alone. Cross crease pass! And he was looking to bury it. And Moeller whiffed on it. And that's about the third time tonight that a Rebel didn't get all of it. Now going back the other way is Platt. Platt trying to use his jets. Makes a move to the front. Shot and a save by Anderson. So UNLV still on the power play, and Arizona State trying to get within a goal because, of course, if they get within a goal, then you always have the option to pull the goaltender at the end. But both teams with good opportunities here in the last 30 seconds. So we were talking about the rankings, and, you know, it's not a dig on anybody else. You do have some teams that are ahead of UNLV that has not even played a top 25 team yet this year, or a current top 25 team. And you have UNLV, who has played 18 games against top 14 opponents. And so that has got to count for something. Here's Sachs. Good to see Sachs on the ice, which means that puck did hit his glove. Did not hit his wrist. Here's a wrister and a stick save as Mazzillo fired one off, and Rebels looking for that fourth goal, and Bronson Moore gets down to make the save. Well, 30 seconds to go in the power play, and if UNLV manages to get their fourth goal, I would venture to say that this one is, well, I'm trying to come up with something. Comical, and as usual, I fail. Rebels with a little shot, score! Well, that happened quick. And Bronson Moore will not leave here with the same save or goals against. And DeMizio fired one quick off his stick and beat Bronson Moore cleanly. And you would have to say, with the way that the Rebels are playing defensively right now, that this game is, well, this game is, I'll say, this game is going to be out of reach. So DeMizio gets a power play goal, and Jake Sachs will get the assist, and the secondary assist will go to Underwood. So Underwood, Sachs, DeMizio with the goal, and all four lines are rolling for UNLV. Plonsky with a hit as he drives Plord, who has been almost non-existent unlike the rest of the season. Here's a cross-ice pass to Staducio. I knew I was going to do that once this weekend. Studioso. And shot it on Anderson. Anderson was down the perfect position to make the save. And one thing about Anderson, he does an excellent job anticipating shots. He does a good job going post to post. And he's a much bigger backstop than the other netminders on the roster. And this UNLV team will write their ticket to the national tournament if they just keep on the intensity level and keep their eye on a prize. And here's another cross-crease pass. And the low slot area, ended up in the low slot area to Williams. Williams tried a backhander. Now he feathers it trying to get a return pass. And Fisher had it for a second. I think it was in too deep, so he thought, well, I'll try to find Williams again. And didn't quite find a stick, but UNLV's feeling it now. And love the fact they're still sending 2 forecheckers despite the 3-goal lead with 6 minutes to go in the third period. And not changing their game plan in any way, shape, or form. So next week, get out here to City National Arena Friday and Saturday night. Here's a turnover in front, but just couldn't get a shot off with Larson. And it goes into the corner, and I think there's going to be a UNLV penalty, would be my guess, just judging from body language. And it's in that corner that we're shielded from. I say we're, like we got a big, lot of big staff helping me out. I have the guys that set this up. Kyle is amazing, and Marsh is amazing. But I can tell you, once this game starts, that they leave. If you say we're, it sounds like it's a big, big production. 5:35 left. Sachs racing for it, trying to make a move to the middle, and he gets hooked, and it's going to be a penalty on Arizona State. So that is going to erase the Malone penalty. And once again, that's what speed will do for you. Sachs was so fast in on making a move to the middle as he tried to go 5-hole. I got a cramp watching him, and this is about as good as I've seen Jake Sachs in his time here at UNLV. And of course, this is as healthy of a time, healthy as he's ever been here for the Rebels as well. So we're going to skate 4 apiece, and the penalties are almost equal. And the Rebels have a 4-1 lead as they're trying to kill off the remaining 5 minutes of the third period. So come on out next week, Friday and Saturday against Oakland University. As Moore calls for a whistle and finally gets one. Next week against Oakland University. Now Oakland's ranked 22nd. So those are also big games. You can't drop them or lose them. And then they'll play 3 games against Colorado, a team that has played UNLV historically tough. In fact, despite their record this year, they early in the season played UNLV extremely tough. I think it was the first or second game of the year. It was a 1-goal game. So even though their record isn't great, it's certainly not a pushover. So the Rebels have their work cut out for them. 5 games left. Shot in on Moore, and Moore makes a save. And I was looking for an explanation on the rankings as far as goal differential is concerned. And I know it's a somewhat of a component, but if anybody knows where I can find that algorithm, you let me know. Salafos wins the draw from Hoffenkamp, but then gets it back. Now back out to the point, shot back in. Chased there by Larson. Larson up through the half board, but ridden off the puck by Salafos. Arizona State gets it back in, and Arizona State is just not given any room. And this is an aggressive UNLV hockey team. and an aggression that was not evident early on in the year. Here comes Larson once again, accesses the UNLV end, and you would think, as in most cases, and see right there, I love attacking the point, not giving them any room to make a choice to get the puck into a danger zone. Instead, you get a scoring opportunity, and they pound it home, and UNLV takes a 5-1 lead. And the goal's going to go to Erickson. And check that, Manning. So I thought we saw an 8, but okay. See, and this is what I tell you about my staff. Erickson gets the goal. The one time I'm right, I'm going to be right. Erickson gets the goal, makes it 5-1 UNLV. And that goal was created because the Rebels were aggressive at the blue line. And Manning does get the goal. So, oh well, what are you gonna do? DeMizio gets the assist. And I think there's only gonna be one assist on that, and indeed it is. There's Flanders. Flanders in control and just soft dump into the corner, and that's that's a lot of guys would just wind it up and get it into the zone, and he dumped it into the zone with a purpose. And it's just the little things that help you win over the course of a season. This team is buying into what Anthony Vigneri-Greener is selling. 2:43 to go in the game, 5-1 UNLV. They've outscored Arizona State 15-3. And if that doesn't impress the algorithm, I'm not sure what will. Hit along the half boards as UNLV was able to maintain possession in the Arizona State end. And believe me, they're hungry for another one. Thrown in down low to Sachs. Sachs had it roll off his stick, but Underwood picked it up for UNLV. Underwood still has it, trying to get it out to Barry, out to the point. And Barry said, oh, that's fine, we'll just dump it in and kill off some more time as we're under 2 minutes. And the Rebels looking for their 6th goal. And this attitude and shot in on Moore, makes the save. And I've said a couple months ago, I forgot who we were having a discussion with, but my point was that teams win national titles when they have a relentless pursuit of greatness. And I didn't know if this team was ever going to get to that point, but I'm to the point right now where I feel like every line and every man, whether they're playing or they're scratched, as Salafos goes down, has bought into that. And now they've just got to let it ferment a little bit, and we're going to have a penalty, a cross check, and that's going to go against UNLV. Well, actually, that should go against, we're just looking at it now, and maybe against Lampier is my guess, as I'm looking at the replay, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So UNLV essentially is going to end this game on a power play, barring anything else happening, but this team has that look of relentless pursuit, and there have been teams with better records here at UNLV, but this is a team that has discipline, has speed, is solid defensively, and they have all bought in to the system that they're being sold and have been sold from day one. And the Rebels looking to get their 6th goal on the board. Back out to the point, deflected in front as Sachs tried to get yet another goal. Now another shot, puck is still loose, and Moore is down, hugging the pipes. Not giving UNLV anything to shoot at, and the Rebels in possession. Here's Flanders. Fisher thought about coming down on the strong side. And shot in on Moore as he makes a glove save. So 49 seconds left. And the Rebels are about ready to sweep the 13th ranked Sun Devils. Liberty, Arizona, Drexel, and Adrian are already in the tournament. Oh, hits the post, and Demizio was inches away from putting up number 6 as the Rebels looking to tee off and maybe get that 6th goal. And UNLV with this win, we're going to have another power play, and that's going to be another penalty on Arizona State. We're going to have a slashing call. So UNLV will have 25 seconds to practice their 5-on-3. And we mentioned those other teams, they're already in the tournament. There's 2 more spots to be determined, which are automatic berths. One's out of the CMHA and the NECHL. Those divisions both have playoffs, so the winner of that will go to the tournament. So Pittsburgh should win their tournament, while the winner of the NECHL is nowhere to be found in the rankings. So they are going to take a spot from. They're going to take a spot from a team in the top 20, and of course, it looks like the top 19 will make the national tournament. And that's going to do it here from City National, and well, UNLV is peaking at the right time. They have 5 more games left in the season, but right now, they can start putting their eye on the prize with a realistic goal of making some noise in Dallas, but not to get ahead of yourself, but watch a lot of Rebel hockey, and this is probably as excited as I've been about a team headed towards the end of the season. And for Arizona State, well, that squad is probably more than anybody else in the country has improved from year to year, and they certainly are not going to go away. They've had some injuries coming into the game as well, and this is not an Arizona State team that, even though the combined score this weekend was 15-3, this is not a team that's as bad as the final scores indicate. So 2 teams shake hands, and we'll say this, there's quite a history between these 2 teams dating back years, and usually in the third period it gets heated, but not tonight. And it was a good, solid series with Arizona State. And the Rebels will be back to City National next weekend as they'll take on the 27th-ranked Oakland University. Well, thank you for coming out. Thank you for a great alumni weekend. Thank you for a fantastic military and first responder weekend. And it's UNLV did their part, and the fans certainly did their part as well. Final score from City National, UNLV, 17th in the nation, defeat the 13th-ranked Sun Devils tonight, 5-1 to sweep the 2-game series. I'm Dana Lane. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week from City National Arena.